counting.
to go live. What's up, profitable stylist? We are having a lot of fun this week. We're going to talk about why hair extensions are recession proof. And it's a very interesting topic that was brought up to us 2 weeks ago. And we've been thinking about it. It's something we talk about here and there, but we haven't really deep dived into it. So I figured, let's have at it, Bernard. Let's go over why hair extensions are recession proof.
Let's do that. Right before we got on, Eddie was going 5, 4, and I was like, anyway, recession proof extensions. You know, you always heard that rumor forever about the hair business. At least I did. My parents sold beauty supplies all my life. My dad was a computer programmer, worked for Lockheed Martin, but my mom was a hairdresser. And then years into, I don't know, I was young. My dad said, let's open a beauty supply business. And then she quit cutting hair. She was on the road. And we went through a couple of recessions through the years. And I always remember my dad saying, I'm not going to quit the job. It's the steady income. And that's what brings the insurance in, because owning your own business is tough, having health insurance. And I think it was a security issue. But through the years, they would always talk about the beauty business being recession proof and depression proof. And we had a few small recessions, you know, like the dot-com burst bubble, whatever that thing was called, the real estate thing, a few different things through my life. I'm 53 years old. You know, I don't remember the first 8, 10, didn't really care, but just remember him always saying, thank goodness we're in the beauty business, because and I never really did like break it down why the beauty business in general. And I think the part of hair extensions is because it's a high-end service. You're able to make more money during the recession than just being basic recession proof. And I guess the bottom line is still going to get their hair cut at a bare minimum, right? I mean, maybe they spread it out a little bit, like kids don't get their hair cut as often during the summer, but then school starts, they all get their hair cut. You're still going to have school during the recession. Kids are still going to school. So, and moms are still going to work and dads are still going to work. So you've got to look presentable. So I think it kind of all starts there. It's part of our image. We kind of have to be socially acceptable to start with. Now, I say have to just as a beginning point, way, way over here, because I think the next thing is we want to keep our sanity. Don't you think that we kind of have to do it just to feel alive and
It
normal?
really is a mental thing. I mean, there's I don't even know how many studies, but there's tons of studies out there that really show your self-image when you look yourself in the mirror, how you feel about yourself has a complete correlation that dictates how you emotionally feel, both mentally and physically, especially physically. And especially when people are trying to lose weight, when they're really big, like you see those body transformations, somebody's
Yeah.
400 pounds and then they lose 300 pounds. And it all starts with their mindset. I am going to do this. I
Yeah.
want to do this, right? So it's the same thing with the haircut. And like how you're saying with the self-image, people want to feel good, and by default they want to look good in order to feel good.
Yeah, I think the look good helps you feel good. And so I think that even maybe, I think you're right. There's a lot of psychology behind it, and neither one of us are therapists by any means.
No.
Although many people say, as a hairdresser, it's like we're therapists, social workers,
I get to
psychiatrists.
give all the advice I want with no ramifications for
You know,
it.
there can be ramifications if you give the wrong advice. I've seen that happen in a salon. You told my wife what? It wasn't me. It was another
That's
hairdresser.
happened to me a
But,
couple of times
oh,
actually.
good. But but at the same time, when the whole world is falling apart, my opinion is that's one little part of your life that you can control. And I'm not saying your life or your world's falling apart, but when the world, like right now, we're in a bit of a recession, the stock market's down, we're learning how to do options trading on another channel. It's bounced back a little. It's been fun for a couple of weeks. We're making money again, but there was 2 or 3 months where it was like not as fun to trade. The money was in a little bit of a holding pattern. Everything dipped down. But you know what didn't change was my stylist income in our salon. I mean, things were diving down. The whole world looks like it's falling apart. Russia's attacking the Ukraine, or vice versa. China might be on some kind of decline because of. I've been watching some videos about how
Mm.
their whole economy is getting messed up because of the housing market and people aren't building, and some big Ponzi scheme that's going on over there that's affecting how people pay for their house notes or whatever, and lots of them aren't wanting to pay. So in a way, the whole world is struggling a little bit, even in America with COVID. But then a few things happen. While things are bad and we're sad and there's not a lot of good news out there, we can control our little bitty world around us and getting a few things done. I mean, there's more than just the hair world. You know, there's other sectors of society that do better. Also, online shopping did better. I'm sure gambling did better, even though we have no money. It's a little feel good. It's like I'm going to take a chance with a little bit of money and I might win a bunch. But if I do my hair, it's an immediate gratification. I told this story once before, and I'll say it again that we have a few more followers, and I'll make it really short. But I used to have a girl who would come every once in a while. She didn't keep her extensions up like she should. Every few years, she'd call me and get ahead of extensions. She comes in, and when I'm getting ready to put her hair in, it's one of those clients that I did so many times I didn't take a deposit. So I knew that when she came in, she would pay. And this was quite a few years ago, and I think the price I kind of remember to this day was like $800. So she says, so I called my mom last night and said, Mom, I'm going to Bernard tomorrow to get extensions. I haven't paid my house note in a few months. I'm getting close to getting kicked out. And I asked her, should I catch my house note up or get the hair extensions? I'm thinking, pay your freaking house note, but I did already order this hair. I don't, I'm really thinking, just shut up, Bernard, just shut up, stay out of it. But then I'm like, I like the girl. I got to give her the right advice. She's not actually asking me for advice. She's just telling me a story. So maybe I'm not supposed to say anything. And she says, and my mom says, and of course I'm thinking, she said pay your house note, and you disagreed, right? No, she didn't. Her mom said, well, Mandy, I think you should get extensions. Now, the next part of the story comes up that I didn't know. And this is where you don't know where people are in their life. And her mom says, you know, Mandy, I think you should get extensions, because if that's going to keep you from being as depressed as you are, I'm worried about you committing suicide. And if extensions is going to keep you happy enough to stay alive, that's what you should do. And I was like,
Whoa.
didn't know how powerful looking and feeling better was until that moment. And I was like, God, when you frame it like that, maybe hair extensions is more important than paying your house note. But who am I to say? So if it's that powerful for that family in that moment, then I get how looking better and feeling better could make somebody just make better or different choices in their life. That's crazy, huh?
The, I mean, that is, that's an insane. Yeah, I had to take a moment to really absorb all of that in. That really is an insane. But you know, it just goes to show that the salon is an oasis for our clientele to come to.
True.
It's like what do you call the resort when you go? It's all
All
everything's
inclusive.
all inclusive. Yeah, the salon is like an all inclusive resort when they're coming to get their services done. It's, you know, they leave the world outside. We don't have TV. Well, some salons have TVs going, but it's not like the news channel, or it's not like, you know, some chaotic mess out there, you know. It's usually housewives or something that people can gossip about or brag about or argue about.
Right.
But it's all
Right.
in jest and in fun. It's not this serious hardcore thing. And it really makes a huge difference. The other thing that you were talking about before you were telling the story, a couple of points hit home with me, and I've come to realize, you know, with the way technology is moving nowadays and the direction that the world is going, a lot of things are done more online and a lot of things are done more digitally. But hair has to be done physically in person. You still can't do it over the internet. Like, you still got to come and physically get your hair cut. You got to come physically get your extensions. your hair extensions taken out and putting in. Doesn't matter what kind you're doing, whether it's a weft or bonds or strands or whatever type, hand tied or whatever.
COVID brought a whole new level of why hair extensions were more recession proof than even regular salon services, because a lot of the weird new change, we had never experienced anything like COVID before in our world, and so the way it affected our our stylist, the way I could see it was, okay, first do nothing. So the little bit of rebellion across the country was, a lot of people were showing their pictures of, look, I opened up a salon in my home. I've got people coming to my house because I have to survive. The government, sure, they're giving us checks, but not enough to live. People still want, the rent is still due for a lot of people. I know some people have forgiveness, but I know a couple of the side businesses we do, nobody gave us any forgiveness on rent. We still had to pay rent when no customers were coming in for a couple of months. But aside from some of us doing hair at home, going to people's homes to do it, trying to get around the rules to survive, the as the salon started to open up, one of the big rules was have the extra people wait outside. So just one customer per stylist. The stylists that make the big money would multitask, do 2 and 3 clients at a time. So one of the things that did was it cut the income a bunch, because we weren't able to do, like, put color, let it process, get a cut going, get another color going. So we were limited. So then hairdressers started thinking, if I got to do one client at a time, where can I make more money on one client? And that was hair extensions. So we had a lot of new people getting certified or saying, I need to do hair extensions. I need to do that thing that makes more money, and hair replacement. But I need to do that thing that makes more money during the time I have to do one client. So it might as well be something I can pull a lot of money in. So that was a big kind of test and difference that COVID brought about. You had something to say about COVID also.
Another thing about that, what that really showed about hair extensions above and beyond any other service. Yeah, in the beginning, a lot of people were sitting home, and in the beginning, a lot of people were trying to sort everything out and figure everything out. And everybody was arguing about who is essential. They had this whole thing about essential services, essential workers, essential businesses. And there was a lot of fighting about that. Well, I was keeping track of something that was really interesting that was happening. I think, I might be wrong. I think it was the Senate. They were trying to figure it out. So they start lobbying for hair extensions. Out of all the beautification services, they started lobbying for hair extensions. And what the argument for it was, it is an essential service because if hair extensions left unkept, it can and will cause irreparable physical, mental, and emotional trauma and damage. And it was insane because every session that they meet, which I don't know the whole logistics of it, but it kept getting voted past to the next level, to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. The week that it was about to be voted in as an essential service, that's the week where they started opening things back up fully anyways. So the vote never fully went through. But had everything not opened up that week, it would have been classified as an essential service.
That's good to hear.
And it is, because it justified a lot of things. It does make you feel better. It does physically improve your appearance. It does emotionally protect everything that's going on in this world, right? And we argue, or not argue, but we belabor, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how I come up with these vocabulary words when I'm talking to you, but it's like we go over the fact every single week, take care of your hair.
Yeah. Right. And so the tangles and the knotting that can come from not getting them done or redone. So you can take care of your hair great, but after a few months, I love this poster behind me. It makes it look like my hair has already grown longer. But over some time, if this long hair back here is not taken care of, or let's say she is taking care of it, But then after 3 months, 2 or 3 months of wearing extensions, they need to come out and be put back in. It's hard to stop it from tangling at the scalp, no matter what, after a certain period of time. So undone, like not redone, taken out, put back in by a hairdresser because the client can't do it themselves, it is going to start causing such tangling that at some point is going to be dreads. And then the dreads are going to be even worse. And it can start to pull hair together that would actually pull and cause sores on the scalp. So physical, I know some people might argue about the mental anguish side of it. That's all so hard to gauge, but definitely physical damage. It's definitely cause physical damage and pain. And pulling hair out the head is non-repairable. That's the whole point behind waxing. When you pull hair out of the body, you're damaging the follicle so it doesn't grow back as strong and eventually doesn't grow back at all. So if you pull hair out of the head, whether it's on purpose or not, it is going to be irreparable damage. But from there, you reminded me of during COVID, I had friends around the country, just individuals that quickly, also hair replacement professionals, sometimes their customers were nurses, doctors, lawyers, so they had a little bit more inside information and quickly went to whoever the powers were that would control it in their area. I didn't figure it out in my area, but many of them petitioned the right people and got letters immediately to be considered essential services in their small areas. So you could fight it yourself, you could write the letter, you could get approved, and then when the police or fire department came to shut you down because somebody told on you, you could show your letter like, oh no, I was okayed by the local whatever authority in the area. So you can fight it in small doses also across the country. And I think that's probably what helped the big one get close to going through, because it was all across the country. People were getting okayed to do hair replacement and hair extensions and specialty services. So let's see, I wrote a few notes here. Breaks not needed. We were talking about, you're like, we don't need a break. Can I get a mini break in the middle of this podcast for lunch? No, when people say I'm wearing extensions for a certain period of time and then they want to take a break from, I know you're pretty passionate about that. You want to talk a little bit about.
No, I need a moment to get my Tourette's under the control. We're not allowed to cuss on here.
Give my hair a break from extensions. If you're needing to give your hair a break, if you feel like you're needing to give your hair a break because there's any wrong something going on, your stylist sucks. Or you're doing something wrong to your hair. Because I've been doing some hair extensions, some girls' extensions, and I've been out from behind the chair for close to a decade now. And some of those clients that I did for 20 years myself have been turned over to some of my hairdressers in my own salon. And there's 2 or 3 girls that still come to my salon and have been doing extensions for over 20 years repeatedly with no damage. They just always grew fine or thin hair. It wasn't as thick and they shed fast, but never got as long and thick as they liked.